The mysterious Monkey D. Dragon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of people want to know, why is he considered the world's worst criminal?
Right.
And, how significant is his role, in the whole story of One Piece.
Yeah.
So,
Well, he is the leader of the Revolutionary Army, which is, directly opposed to the world government.
yeah, and I mean, that right there is going to make you public enemy number one.
Yeah. Yeah, you're definitely going to get on their bad side if you're trying to overthrow the entire world order.
Ahoy, Nakama, I'm Jiro.
I'm Keiko.
Welcome
to Mean Minion. Here, we uncover the biggest mysteries of One Piece.
From theories to reveals, we've got you covered. He's not like a typical pirate. He doesn't seem to be motivated by, wealth
Yeah.
or power or fame. It's something else. He's got something else motivating him.
Yeah, it's definitely something more ideological. He really believes in this idea of freedom and justice for all. It's not about personal gain for him. It's something much bigger.
Right. And it's not just talk. He's actually out there
Mm-hmm.
liberating countries from the world government's control.
Yeah.
I mean, this isn't just like, pulling off heists
Right.
or fighting, individual Marines.
He's creating systemic change. He's actually making a difference.
Yeah. And those liberated countries become symbols of hope
Yeah.
for other oppressed people. And that's got to be one of the scariest things.
No, absolutely. For ruling power, that's like their worst nightmare. To have people believe that there's an alternative, that they can actually break free.
Yeah. So, and then there's this whole mystery surrounding his devil fruit.
Right.
What is it? What can he do? It seems like he can control the weather.
Yeah, there's a lot of evidence pointing to that. Especially that scene in Loguetown when he saves Luffy from Smoker.
Out of nowhere,
Yeah.
this massive storm appears.
Right, right.
And he's just kind of walking through it.
Calmly, like it's nothing.
Like it's nothing. It's heavily implied. He's not just weathering the storm. He's controlling it.
Yeah, yeah. He's the one causing it.
If he can control something as powerful as the weather, what else can he do?
That's what's scary for the world government. The possibilities are pretty much endless.
Think about it. Strategic advantage in battle. You could cripple supply lines. You could cause environmental chaos.
Yeah, it's a huge threat.
Here's where things get really interesting.
Okay.
There's a theory that Dr. Vegapunk, the world government's leading scientist, genius scientist,
Right, right.
might have ties to Dragon.
Interesting.
Could the world government be unknowingly funding their own downfall?
It wouldn't be the first time in history that's happened. Governments accidentally arming their enemies. It happens all the time.
But what does that mean for Dragon and Vegapunk?
Right. That is the question. Are they working together? Was there some past connection that we don't know about yet?
Yeah, we know Vegapunk was interested in the ancient technology.
Right. The technology from the Void Century.
And the world government was trying to erase that.
Trying to keep it hidden. Exactly.
Yeah. So, and then you have Dragon,
Yeah.
who, is probably the biggest threat to the world government.
Yeah.
So it's just this real interesting
Yeah.
possibility there. So, all right, but the title, World's Worst Criminal, that carries a lot of weight.
Right. It's not just some throwaway title.
What did Dragon do?
Yeah.
We've talked about liberating countries, inspiring hope. I mean, those don't sound evil.
No, they don't. And that's the thing with Dragon. It's more about the threat he represents than any specific evil acts.
It was about the ideological threat.
Exactly. He's a walking challenge to the world government's authority. He represents the possibility of a world without them, and that's terrifying to them.
He's like a virus, spreading the idea of freedom and revolution.
Right. And that's much harder to combat than any physical force. You can't just arrest an idea.
Yeah. Makes you wonder, what kind of world does Dragon envision? Like, if he succeeds.
Yeah. What would he replace the world government with?
Right.
That's a great question and one we don't have a clear answer to yet. But there are some hints. The way he talks about freedom, justice, the importance of knowledge. It suggests a world that's more egalitarian, where power isn't concentrated in the hands of a few.
Right, right. Decentralized, maybe more democratic in some way?
Possibly. But we also know that he's willing to use force to achieve his goals. So it's not going to be a utopia, that's for sure.
Right. It's a revolution. There's going to be conflict. There's going to be struggle.
Exactly.
And speaking of conflict, we got to talk about Dragon's connection to the Will of D. This lineage shrouded in secrecy. But the members often seem to play a role in challenging authority, right?
That's right. Whether it's Gaily D. Roger, Portness D. Ace, Or, of course, Monkey D. Luffy. There's definitely a pattern there.
And Dragon is both a D and a revolutionary leader.
It puts him right at the center of this whole mystery. What is the will of D? What role do they have to play in shaping the world?
Okay, so let's compare Dragon to some of the other big-time villains we've seen in One Piece.
Okay, yeah, good idea.
You know, guys like Doflamingo, Crocodile, Kaido, they were all ultimately motivated by personal gain.
Right. Power, wealth, control. The usual stuff.
Dragon, though, he's fighting for something far bigger than himself.
Yeah, something much larger. He's willing to sacrifice everything for this idea of a better world.
And it's been noted, I think, that Dragon's bounty might actually be lower than Goldie Roger's.
That is interesting, yeah.
It suggests the world government fears his ideology more than the actions of a traditional pirate.
Right, right. Roger was a force of nature, no doubt. But Dragon represents something much more fundamental, a challenge to their entire system of control.
It's like the difference between a really strong pirate and someone who wants to rewrite the rules of the game.
Exactly.
And speaking of rewriting the rules, we can't ignore the possible connection between Dragon and Roxy Zegbeck.
Yeah.
This was a legendary pirate captain, even more notorious than Roger.
Yeah, a real terror.
He was known for his ambition.
And ruthlessness.
Ruthlessness, yeah. Some speculate Dragon might have been part of Vbeck's crew before starting the Revolutionary Army.
That's a fascinating idea. How would that experience have shaped him? What would make him go from being part of that crew to leading a movement dedicated to justice and freedom?
Right. It's a pretty big leap. Maybe he saw the flaws in Xebeck's way.
Yeah.
Maybe he realized that true change couldn't come from violence and chaos.
Interesting.
So yeah, Dragon's past.
It's still largely a mystery.
It's really a mystery. But we know he's a key player.
Absolutely.
And his story is just beginning to unfold.
Definitely.
All right, so let's talk about this O'Hara incident. That seems like a pretty important moment for Dragon.
Yeah, pivotal.
The world government, they destroyed a whole island to suppress historical research. That's a pretty big deal.
It's horrific. A blatant act of censorship and violence.
Yeah.
Just to control information.
And this event, it seems like this was a turning point for Dragon.
Absolutely. Solidifying his commitment to armed resistance against the world government.
It was like he saw firsthand just how far they were willing to go.
Exactly. Their ruthlessness, their complete disregard for knowledge and truth.
And O'Hara was researching the Void Century.
Right. The period of history that the world government has tried so hard to erase.
So Dragon's opposition to this act suggests he understands the importance of that lost history.
Yeah. It's not just about overthrowing a corrupt system. It's about reclaiming the narrative.
It's about empowering people with knowledge.
Exactly. Giving them the tools to understand the world, the past, and maybe even shape the future.
And that brings us to the poneglyphs.
Right.
These ancient stones that hold the key to unlocking that lost history.
And Dragon's potential connection to them is fascinating.
Yeah, the theory is he might possess the final poneglyph, the one that reveals the truth about the Void Century.
Imagine the impact of that knowledge on the world. Exposing the world government's lies, their corruption. It could rewrite history as we know it.
It's like wielding the truth itself.
Yeah.
Against those who have tried to bury it.
And if Dragon has that poneglyph, it raises the stakes of his rebellion immensely. He's not just fighting for a better future, he's fighting to reclaim the past.
That's a battle with consequences far beyond the present.
Yeah, it's a fight for the very soul of the One Piece world.
Okay, so we've got a revolutionary leader, mysterious past. Maybe he's connected to some of the most powerful figures in One Piece history. So how does this all tie into the bigger picture? How significant is Dragon's role in this whole saga?
That's the million Mary question, isn't it? And I think the answer is incredibly significant. He's not just a powerful individual. He's a symbol of change, of resistance. And I think his actions are going to have a huge impact on the course of events in One Piece.
Yeah, I think so too. It's like he's setting the stage for something truly massive.
Exactly.
All right, well, that's it for part 1 on Monkey D. Dragon.
But there's so much more to explore.
Yeah, so make sure to come back for part 2, where we'll dig even deeper into the mysteries surrounding the world's worst criminal.
And we'll see how his actions could reshape the entire world of One Piece.
Hey, Nakama, enjoying the adventure so far?
If you have a topic or mystery you want us to uncover, let us know in the comments.
And while you're at it, give this video a like and subscribe to keep sailing with us.
Now, back to the adventure.
So much we still don't know about Dragon. Like, who was he before the revolution.
Right, like where did this guy come from?
Yeah, the sources mention he might have been a Marine once.
A Marine! Wow, that's a heck of a turnaround.
Talk about a career change. From upholding the law to being the world's worst criminal.
Must have been some serious disillusionment. What could make someone switch sides like that?
Did you think, what did he see in the Marines that pushed him away?
Some say it was the O'Hara incident. Seeing that kind of brutality firsthand.
Oh yeah, that would do it. Erasing history, an entire island, gone.
It's like the world government showed its true colors and Dragon couldn't stomach it anymore.
And then there's that Xebec connection too.
Yeah.
Another challenge to the world government, just in a completely different way.
Xebec wanted to rule the world. Dragon wants to change it completely.
Yeah, but maybe they both saw the same problem. The world government itself.
Maybe Dragon learned from Xebec's mistakes. Saw how violence and chaos don't lead to real change.
Right, so he chose a different path. Revolution, but with a focus on justice and freedom.
It's like he took the anger, the frustration, and channeled it into something constructive.
Okay, but let's not forget the big mystery. His devil fruit. Yeah. We keep dancing around it.
Weather control, yeah, but what does that mean exactly? How does he do it?
Is it a logia? Can he turn into wind or storm cloud?
Or maybe it's a paramecia and he manipulates the weather around him.
Whatever it is, it's got to be powerful. Summoning a storm like that in Logtown.
Casually strolling through it like it's a light breeze. The world government must be terrified.
But here's the thing. He could use that power for evil. Easily.
Oh, absolutely. He could be a tyrant wreaking havoc with the weather.
But he's not. He's fighting for the oppressed. Against injustice.
That's what sets him apart. It's not about personal gain. It's about a greater purpose.
All right, so big picture time. We've got Dragon the Revolutionary, the mysterious devil fruit user, the D, carrying that legacy. Where does it all lead?
Back to the Will of D, right? That prophecy, that destined clash with the world government.
Dragon's right in the thick of it. Leading the revolution, Luffy out there aiming for Pirate King.
And Blackbeard waiting in the shadows, gathering power. It's like a three-way collision course.
And the Ancient Kingdom, the Void Century, the Poneglyphs, it's all connected.
It's a struggle for the future, but also for the truth of the past. Who gets to control the narrative?
And Dragon's on the side of freedom, knowledge, uncovering what's been hidden.
He's a leader, yeah, but also a symbol. People see him and they have hope that things can change.
But let's not forget, this is Luffy's Dyad we're talking about.
Oh man, yeah. What happens when the son who wants to be the freest man alive
clashes with the father who's trying to build a free world? Talk about family drama.
Seriously, it's personal and political. Could their ideals clash? Would they end up on opposite sides?
That's some high-stakes storytelling right there. Makes you wonder what Oda has planned.
I know, right? As the story goes on, we'll learn more about Dragon, for sure. His motives, his goals, that past we keep mentioning.
Each new bit of information, it just adds another layer to the whole One Piece saga. It's amazing.
Truly is. Okay, but let's circle back for a sec. Why is Dragon so dangerous in the world government's eyes?
It's got to be more than just his strength or devil fruit, right? There's something else.
It's the inspiration. People look at him and they see a chance for something different, a chance to break free.
He's like that virus we talked about, spreading the idea that the world government can be challenged.
And ideas are tough to fight. You can't just lock them up or execute them.
Exactly. Maybe that's why his bounty's lower than Roger's. Roger wanted freedom for himself and his crew.
Dragon wants it for everyone, and that's a much bigger threat to the established order.
He's not a pirate looking for treasure or fame. He wants to change the whole system.
He's earned that world's worst criminal title, not for what he's done, but for what he represents.
The possibility of change. That's what scares them the most.
Think back to O'Hara again. They destroyed knowledge to maintain control. Dragon's fighting for the opposite.
He wants people to learn, to understand the past, to question authority. That's powerful.
It's a fight for the future, yeah, but also for the truth.
Man, Dragon's story just keeps getting more and more complex.
And we're just scratching the surface. There's so much more to discover as the One Piece world unfolds.
So we've talked about Dragon the Revolutionary, the fighter, the D. But is he really a criminal?
It depends on who you ask, right?
Right. For the world government, he's public enemy number one.
Yeah.
But for the people, he's liberated.
He's a hero, a symbol of hope.
Exactly. And the sources really highlight that he's not just about fighting, but about knowledge, too.
Yeah, the O'Hara incident seems to have been huge for him.
Seeing the world government destroy an entire island just to control information.
That must have been a wake-up call. Like, negotiations off the table, these guys are ruthless.
So it's not just about taking down a government. It's about fighting censorship, protecting knowledge.
He's fighting for the right to understand history, not the version the world government wants to feed everyone.
It's like he's this embodiment of enlightenment, going up against a system built on lies.
Yeah, and that makes his criminality really subjective. Is it a crime to fight for what you believe in?
Especially when what you believe in is freedom and knowledge for everyone.
It all comes down to perspective.
And let's not forget the will of D again. That prophecy about a clash with the world government.
Could Dragon be the one to fulfill it?
He's got the lineage, the power, the drive.
Leading the revolution, holding the potential key to the Void Century with that poneglyph. It all fits.
So if he wins, what happens then? What kind of world does he want to build?
That's the big question, isn't it? No one knows for sure, but we can look for clues.
He values freedom, justice, knowledge. Seems like he wants to empower people, not control them.
Right. Maybe a world where nations govern themselves, where information is free and history isn't hidden.
A world built on truth and self-determination.
Where the will of D can finally flourish.
Man, it's a powerful image. Revolutionary leader, potential prophecy fulfiller, challenging the very idea of good and evil. Monkey D. Dragon is something else.
He's one of the most fascinating characters in One Piece for sure. And the story's only just getting started.
Absolutely. Thanks for joining us as we explored his revolutionary spirit, his mysterious past, and the impact he's having on the One Piece world.
We've covered a lot, but there's always more to uncover. So keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep those theories coming.
Until next time, keep seeking knowledge and never be afraid to challenge the status quo.
Thanks for joining us, Nakama.
Got a topic or mystery you want us to uncover? Comment below.
And don't forget to like and subscribe to join the adventure. See you soon!